Hi y'all, it's Suzanne. Happy February. I cannot believe we are already into February of 2022. It seems like January just started. We're going to kick February off with a journal entry. Today we're going to journal on things we love about ourselves. The month of February is often about love and relationships, so we're going to focus on the relationship we have with ourselves because the way we treat ourselves sets the bar. It's the baseline for how others treat us. Let's get started. As I was thinking about what to focus on for February, obviously love and relationships came to mind. I was collaborating with a good friend of mine, and she says, why not focus on relationships? So I thought about the various types of relationships that we have and landed on the relationship with ourselves. How we treat ourselves is the baseline for how others are going to treat us. If we don't treat ourselves well, why would anyone else treat us well? When we do treat ourselves well, we teach ourselves to not settle for less. Treat yourself well. Take care of yourself. People around us often tend to follow suit. Not an example of how people treat me, but when I come into my home, I take my shoes off. Most people take their shoes off when they come into my home. I noticed that some weren't, so I put a sign on my front door that says, please remove your shoes. Now, the considerate individual who might have missed the cue that I take my shoes off, when they see that, well, they take their shoes off. The inconsiderate individuals don't. Those are clearly not people I want in my inner circle. Just a silly example there. Nonetheless, one of the things I do to keep my home as a sacred space is removing my shoes. And because this is my space, I want to keep it sacred. I expect others to do the same out of respect for me. Today, I would like for you to think about 3 things that you love about yourself. Take the time to jot down at least 3 things that you love about yourself. It could be a characteristic. It could be something about the way you look. It could be a way that you know you make other people feel. It could be tied to your personal life or your professional life. Just 3 things about yourself that you really love. You might not be able to think of 3 things off the bat, and that's okay. If you can't, I guarantee you that you're selling yourself short. So write down what does come to mind, and then as other things come to mind, write those things down also. As you write down what you love about yourself, why do you love this about yourself? Is it something that's visible to others? Is it something that you share with others? Maybe it's something personal that you hold at heart. Maybe when you think about what it means to you, this characteristic, whatever it is, will become something that you want to share. I've had time to reflect on things I like about myself in preparing for this video. So I'll share a few things, and as we wrap up the month and I recap, I'll give more detail around these things, but I did jot them down, so I'm going to refer to the notes right here below me. One thing I love about myself is the color of my eyes. If you know me, you'll hear me refer to Asian green, which is really just a lighter shade of brown. In some cases, it's actually hazel or green, the Asian green eyes. When I am very happy or very sad, my eyes turn bright hazel. I love the fact that I can't hide my emotions, that what's in my heart comes out through my eyes, and there's no hiding it because my eyes very visibly change color. I love the fact that I am not afraid to be alone. I'm not afraid to travel alone. I'm not afraid to dine alone. I'm not afraid to go on adventures alone, to be home alone, though I'm never really alone because the cats are here in the house. That probably comes from traveling for so many years for work. When I was very young, I traveled alone and I learned to feel comfortable being alone. It's not that I'm lonely, I'm just alone. Regardless of where we are, there's always an opportunity to make friends. So I often take the opportunity of being alone to meet new people or sometimes just to go internal and reflect. But I'm not afraid to be alone. I love the fact that I love deeply. I love my friends deeply. I love my family deeply. Anything that I do with immense passion, and I believe that part of that comes from a love of myself and wanting to do things well. When I think about loving deeply, I often think about something that some of mine and my brother's friends said when we were all together in Portugal some years ago. Someone made a joke that if you mess with her brother, she will cut you. And I do and have loved that boy since I was a child. And I am just utterly protective of him because of this deep love that I feel for this now man. I love everybody that I love with that depth and that magnitude of love. What I've learned from having that deep, deep love is that whomever I have in my life has to share that same capacity of love. Otherwise, we're not on equal ground and it really just doesn't work. I mentioned passion. Anything that I do, I tend to do with a lot of passion. I'm always going to look for the good in every event, in every initiative. I'm going to find the good. I'm going to find a way to make whatever it is I'm doing positive because I want to do anything that I do well. I want to do it with my whole heart. Because if I don't have the passion behind it and I can't put my heart into it, then I'm not going to do it well. So I love that I possess this passion. I love that I'm able to take this passion and infuse it into everything that I do. I love that I'm a lifelong learner. I am always looking for different ways to learn about myself, about others, about the universe, new skills, anything I can do to make this universe a better place. It's all about learning and taking what we learn and putting it into action. I feel like I'm able to look at my life experiences, to take from those, to learn from those, to be able to share with others. And as I go through life, I really do my best to stop the pattern so that I take what I've learned, I apply it, and I'm better next time around. I hope that my experiences help others do that. The last thing I'll mention is I love that I have a generally happy disposition. People often comment on the fact that I smile a lot. I had a lady stop me in the grocery store a while back and she said, you know that you smile through your eyes. And that, let me tell you, was a beautiful thing these last couple of years in the midst of this pandemic, to be able to smile and for people to see that. But I also noticed throughout this pandemic that many people smile with their eyes. I had never noticed that about myself before. And when she said it, I'm like, oh. And then one day I was looking at my cute little mama and I realized that she too smiles with her eyes. And that's something unique and special that we share. Quite honestly, it's probably the way our eyes wrinkle and crinkle. But this lady was right. The smile does go all the way up to the eyes when it's real. And most often for me, it's real. As I talk about my happy disposition that I like about myself, I remember when my father passed away and one of my aunts commented to my mother that I just seemed too happy at the viewing and at his funeral. And I was trying to be happy. I was trying to put on a happy face. I worked the entire time we were in hospice because for me, I needed that normalcy to keep me going. And it really wasn't until a couple of days after my father passed away that I really just lost it. He wasn't there anymore. I didn't need to be strong for him. And I did in that moment rather just lose it. And I had to stop and go spend some time alone and just cry. But yes, at my father's funeral, at his viewing, I was smiling. I was surrounded by people I loved. I was surrounded by people who loved my father. I was smiling for other people to help overcome their heartache. But most importantly, I was happy because I had spent just over 40 years being the daughter of an amazing man who loved me to the ends of the earth and always will, who I will always love back. We had a long goodbye in hospice, and I was happy that it had finally come to an end so that he could be with the rest of his family in heaven. I was happy to be surrounded by people I loved who loved my dad. I was happy because that's what he would have wanted. So my happy disposition, while some may not always understand it, is something about myself that I really love. So those are just a few things about me that I love. As I sit here, I'm thinking about the people in my life, and I'm thinking about the things about them that I love. And I think that later on today, I will likely send a message to some of these folks and let them know it's something about them that I love, simply to say I love you, but so that they can embrace that part of themselves. So for my friends and family who watch this, get ready. Before this video airs, you will likely have a message from me telling you something about you that I love. For your journal entry today, pick up your journal, pick up your pen, find that quiet space and just sit with your thoughts. Think about 3 things about yourself that you love. Don't sell yourself short. Find all 3 of those things. Why do you love them? How do they manifest in the world? Do you hold them at heart? Do you share them with others? If you don't share it, should you? Every morning when you get up and look in the mirror, I want you to tell yourself that you love yourself because of these things. Express gratitude for these things about yourself that you love. We know that gratitude leads to gratitude, leads to gratitude. So the more you express gratitude for the amazing parts of you, the more amazing parts of you are likely to discover. There are so many things about each of you that are amazing. You just have to stop, pause, and listen. So, this week's journal entry, write down 3 things about yourself that you love. Why? How they manifest. Do you share them? Do you not share them? Should you share them? Every single day for the next week, I want you to wake up, look in the mirror, tell yourself you love yourself. Talk to yourself about the things you love about yourself. Express gratitude for those things. Your gratitude will grow. The things you love about yourself will grow. As a reminder, the way you treat yourself sets the stage. It is baseline for how other people treat you. Treat yourself well. People in turn will treat you well. And hopefully that starts a domino effect. I'm so excited to spend this next month with you, journaling and on the mat. Thanks for joining. So much love, so much gratitude. Bye.